Have you ever heard of a demon king called Ravana who lived 5000 years ago in Sri Lanka? Some people think that this king was only a legend, but according to the evidence found in Sri Lanka, this king was not a myth, but a true king that ruled ancient Sri Lanka. He was known as the 10-headed king, not because he was a demon, but because he is the greatest intellectual who ever lived in the world. But there are a lot of mysteries around him. With the researchers we have done in Sri Lanka, we found some groundbreaking evidences about this ancient king. Let's dig out the true history of this great king. As the first part of this video, we are trying to find the place where this king's kingdom was, and the weapon that he created with the advanced technology he had. Let's start our story like this. When Ranmutudu, the first colour film in Sri Lanka, was being made, a Canadian naval officer named Mike Wilson was involved in it. One day, when he was diving in the sea near the Great Ravana lighthouse in Sri Lanka, he found some archaeological objects in the sea. After that, Mike Wilson, together with Arthur C. Clarke, recovered some other ancient items in the sea area. Thus, they had recovered a large number of silver coins and several items from a sunken ship during the Mughal Empire. After that, in 1956, he conducted another diving test in the sea near the Trincomalee Koneeswaram temple. Here too they found some valuable archaeological items, but apart from these items and a shivling, what else in this place is still a mystery. Not only that, it is said that after the incident, this Canadian officer changed his name to Swami Sivakalki and lived in Sri Lanka until he died. So what they saw in that place? Why are the things they explored in Sri Lankan sea areas still a secret? In 2009, some diving inspectors who investigated in an area belonging to the southeastern Sri Lanka found the ruins of a historical city. Analyzing these ruins with historical information, they came to a conclusion that it was a city that belonged to the continent called Lemuria. This Lemuria continent is a large territory that Sri Lanka also belonged to. In 1964, the zoologist Philip Slater, according to his researchers, showed that there was a large area of land connecting to Madagascar and India in the distant history. The main factor for his idea was the biological similarities of animals and plants of countries like Madagascar, Sri Lanka, and India. Among them, his main argument was about lemur animals. That is, these lemur animals are found in Madagascar and India. But even though Madagascar is very close to Africa, these animals are not seen there. For that to happen, there must have been such a large area of land between India and Madagascar at some period of history. Slater was the one who named the continent as Lemuria. This continent of Lemuria takes great importance in the history of the world because, according to some investigators, it is believed that the beginning of the man in the world was from this area. But as I said before, the biggest proof of this was found with the investigations done in 2009 in the sea area belonging to the southeast Sri Lanka. The connection between the continent of Lemuria and the kingdom of Ravana is re-emerged with a report presented by the historian Paul Helderson, who was the chief investigator of this group. This Helderson's report had something like this. According to the physical tests based on the movement of continental plates, Ravana's Sri Lanka was located in the Lemurian continent. It is a territory connecting the Deccan Plateau of southern India and the island of Ceylon, and it is a land that must be crossed by narrow straits between Madagascar to west, Australia to the east, and Antarctica to the south. But even before Henderson presented this, there have been proof about the sunken kingdom of Ravana in old books like Rajavaliya and Ramayana. In these books, we can find that ancient Sri Lankans named this lost continent as Atalanka. It also explains the borders of this land area as same as Henderson said. A group of historians were able to find that the Greek civilization had lived in the vicinity of the Indus Valley. This research group shows that the goddess Athena that we can find in the Greek mythological stories are same to the goddess Saraswati in the Hindu civilization. According to the facts found in these two civilizations, Saraswati and Athena are both goddesses from wisdom and knowledge. So, there are similarities between those two civilizations. And in Plato's book Timaeus and Critias, which mentions about the lost city of Atlantis, talks about a civilization called Athenian in addition to Atlantis civilization. And he has mentioned that due to some incident, the Athenians have planned to attack the Atlantis. But the Atlanteans who knew about this attack in advance attacked the Athenians early. According to the book, somehow the Athenians won that war by defeating this powerful advanced city. Was Plato telling here the same story told in Valmiki's Ramayana? Is Atlantis named by Plato was the same Lankapura or Ravana's kingdom that was in Valmiki's Ramayana? Let's find answers about this. An investigation team led by a British professor who investigated these 3 places showed that all these places were the same place. They had 8 evidences to confirm that. Among those 8, the main factor that we can still search even on Google is, according to Plato, the city of Atlantis received 2 rainy seasons so that 2 harvests can be obtained. Currently, Sri Lanka is the only country in the world that can get 2 harvests due to the fact that there are 2 monsoons. That was the main similarity they showed about these 2 places. As in Plato's information, one of the main reasons for the destructions of Atlantis city was their high technology. According to that information, it is said that the city was drawn by the tsunami caused by the explosion of a crystal plant that was used to get power for this city. And it has been mentioned in Rajavali book, the reason for the destruction of King Ravana's kingdom also happened like this by a tsunami. It has been mentioned that the capital of King Ravana's kingdom, 25 palaces and 100,000 streets were drowned in the sea. It means that an entire city had sunk into the sea. If we look at the things that were destroyed 5,000 years ago are the city of Atlantis, the Ravana civilization, the continent of Lemuria, and the Sahara Desert, which was a rainforest 5,000 years ago. According to historians, a large wave of water has flowed through this rainforest, and we can still find evidence of it today. That is how the Sahara forest became the Sahara Desert. So it has been confirmed in all these places due to an event that happened 5,000 years ago. A large wave of water has flowed across the lands of the world. And one more evidence to prove it even today is that there is a sign of sea flooding in the pyramids of Egypt. Another point presented by the historians is that the people of the Lemurian civilization we mentioned went to Egypt and they built pyramids and began an advanced human civilization there. But you know what? The top points of the 3 Egyptian pyramids were built by aligning the 3 stars in the Orion constellation. Also, the 3 stupas in Sri Lanka, Ruwanvalisaya, Mirisavatiya and Chetavanaramaya, were also made in the same way. That is why the distance between the 3 Egyptian pyramids and the distance between these 3 stupas in Sri Lanka are the same. There might be 2 reasons for these constructions. The first reason is to capture the universal energy in the universe equally. The other reason is that these ancient civilizations may have taken the help of natural resources to create their designs, and they may have used stars to get their alignments right. Or is it possible that these kind of constructions were done because of a connection they had with some other creatures in the universe that we do not know? Yes, some extraterrestrial activities. Somehow, how did they get this kind of technology? That means there had been more advanced civilizations in our world than we think. That's why many scientists believe that this Ravana civilization is not just a pretense, it is actually a civilization that existed in our history. Egyptian history mentions about a sun-headed god called Ra and some lion people who came from the sky. I have told you in my videos that Ra is the name given to the sun according to the Sri Lanka's Hela language. Evidence for this can be found in Sri Lanka's ancient character symbols. I'll tell you an interesting story. That is, when King Ravana was born, he was named by his grandfather Pulasti Rishi. If we take the meaning of Ravana, Ra means sun and Vana means generation or clan. So the meaning of Ravana is Surya Vamsa, or the generation that descended from the sun. So what I'm trying to say is that if the history of the world say that the Egyptian civilization was descended from the Lemurians, and if Lemuria is an area belonging to southeast Sri Lanka where the kingdom of Ravana is located, there may be a connection between Ravana civilization and the person who came from above called Ra. The story of King Ravana hiding his weapons in the jet stream is something we can find in many ancient texts. This jet stream was called as Veramba Air in ancient times. Before I explain about it, I will tell you about the Black Knight satellite, because according to the information I found, there may be a connection between these 2 incidents. Have you heard of the Black Knight satellite mystery? With this photo found in 1998, information about a very mysterious incident that was hidden from the world until then was revealed to the society. That is the mystery of the Black Knight satellite, which is believed to have orbited the Earth about 13,000 years ago. Many facts about the satellite that had been found before came to fore after revealing the photograph. Let us analyze each. In 1954, a special article was published in the New York Times newspaper. It said that 2 objects have mysteriously orbited about the Earth was discovered by Dr. Lincoln Lepers. Compared to that time, this was a big mystery because in 1954, no country had put a satellite into orbit. The attention of America's Pentagon was greatly focused on this incident. They thought that Soviet Russia beat them and went into the space. But the Soviet Russia declared that they have not orbited an object in the space. Many people thought this was a myth. But even though some investigators claimed that these could be UFOs, there were no evidence to prove them, so that concept also collapsed. Nikola Tesla is known as one of the greatest scientists ever born in this world. In 1899, he was able to catch some mysterious signals. He published an article about this called Talking with the Planets. According to that article, his theory was that these signals may came from Mars. But after the revelation of the mystery of the Black Knight satellite, scientists now believe that he received those signals through this satellite. Also in 1927, a Norwegian engineer named Jordan Holmes intercepted some radio waves. But according to the technology available at that time, he could not undergo a deep analysis of these waves. In 1950, after the Soviet Union put the first satellite into orbit, America and many other countries started their own space programs. Along with this, a lot of information about the mysterious objects started to be found. On February 11, 1960, an unidentified object was detected by the radar system of a US Navy ship. But it is said that some organizations tried to keep this incident a secret by calling it a free-floating piece of asteroid. One of the best proofs of this was found in 1961 by a French scientist named Jacques Vallée. That is, some object is orbiting and rotating in the opposite direction to the Earth's rotation around the Earth. What is so special about this discovery was satellites that can orbit in the opposite direction to the Earth's rotation can be produced according to the today's technology. But when this French scientist made this discovery, there was no such technology in the world. Scientist Vallée had handed over the data related to the incident as well as the recordings, but for some reason his superior officer had destroyed the information. The investigators say he did so because some organization wanted to keep this Black Knight mystery a secret. So how is this satellite related to King Ravana's story? Now let's talk about it. In 1970, the experimenter Duncan Lunnan reanalyzed the radio waves that John Hall had obtained in the 1920s. The technology available at the time Hall's captured these signals was not enough to analyze these waves accurately. According to Duncan's analysis, it was stated that these signals had come from the star Apelles Bootes. It was further mentioned in these signals.
Our home is Epsilon Wotus, which is a double star. We live on the sixth planet of 7, coming from the Sun, which is the larger of the two. Our sixth planet has 1 moon. Our fourth planet has 3. Our first and third planets each have 1. Our probe is in the position of Arcturus, known in our maps.
The biggest problem for the investigators was this last part, which means that they believed that these beings had orbited some object around the moon to conduct tests, and now scientists believe that Black Knight could be that object. Have you heard about a strong air current in the atmosphere called jet stream? During the Second World War, a very strong air current was found between 20,000 and 30,000 feet high in the sky when jets bombed. Scientists discovered that any aircraft can travel at twice its speed while traveling with this air current, and the speed of the aircraft decreases by 50% when traveling against the air current. This is a phenomenon that scientists discovered in the 1940s according to the modern science. Now I will tell you about a fact that is mentioned in the books about the Ravana civilization. It is mentioned in these ancient texts that three powerful weapons of King Ravana was hidden in an area called Virambaya, and that King Ravana and the Sri Lankans ascended the Himalayas to use these weapons or restore them. It is further mentioned that this Virambaya is a strong air stream at a height about 30,000 feet, and the weapons of King Ravana moved in one direction of the Virambaya at twice the speed, and in the other direction at half its speed. And I'll tell you another fact. The height of the Himalayan mountain range is 29,030 feet. So, a natural phenomenon recently discovered by modern science has been mentioned in books written 3,000 years ago. In addition to the things I have mentioned, if we ask any war analyst, information is the most powerful weapon in a war. That is why satellite technology is a major part of the world wars today. Then, as it is mentioned in some ancient text, if King Ravana was a person who fought not only in our world but also with the other worlds, the possibility that the powerful weapon of King Ravana mentioned in these books to be a satellite is very high. And according to scientists, if the Black Knight is an object that can capture the signals in our space, it must be something like a satellite as we know it now. There is a great possibility that there is a connection between the two incidents we talked about. Some investigators believe that Ravana's missing weapon was the Black Knight satellite. That means evidence are now being found that ancient civilizations may have more advanced technology than we think. Then let's find more details about these advanced civilizations in next videos. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next part.